Hello, it's Tycho here with Your Voice Media, and today we're talking to Miss Denyce Lawton, and I am so excited because, I've seen you in so many amazing films, and just to see the versatility within you as an actor is beautiful. And this time we get to see you on Tubi's new movie called Most Wanted Santa, where you are playing this amazing detective. Now, let us know, what was it about the film that made you want to be part of the cast?
So what's amazing about this script, the script was really amazing. First of all, it's my first Christmas movie and I'm a huge Christmas movie buff.
Love
I
Christmas
love a good
films.
cheesy Christmas movie.
Ooh,
And
yes.
it wasn't super cheesy, but mostly I think you'll be able to relate. We don't get movies like this where the guy isn't some low level criminal or, she's not some hard woman that thinks that, there's not a good black man out there for her. So it wasn't
Right.
that. And then it wasn't a typical cheesy Christmas movie where it's very, oh, I'm tired of working. I'm going to get out of the city and go to my old hometown and fall in love with a lumberjack. You know what I mean?
You
Uh,
know what? Because that is literally what the plot is
that's
in
the
like
platform
20
for
films you see
all.
every year.
Yeah, and so I loved that they allowed people of color to lead this film, where even the person that plays Carly Lopez, Teresa Castillo, it's a brown woman and a black woman, and we're not these hard women that are hard to love, because you have these men, not to give things away, but you have these men that are in love with them and that are not intimidated by their careers
Right.
or their strength and their intelligence. They're actually attracted to that. So I loved that. And that Chris North, Mr. Donnell Turner, just class, sophistication, has a very lucrative business that's not a street pharmacist
Exactly.
or struggling. So anyways, the storyline in itself is not something that our people get to have and showcase on TV and have a beautiful love story that comes together without some type of baby mama drama or an auntie that no one likes, or
Okay.
you
Or
know
like we are in poverty. It's
yeah,
always
it's not a
something
struggle.
stereotypical.
Yeah,
Right.
and we know struggle enough. We don't have to showcase it all the time. So
I think that's why I like the film. Watching other Christmas films and then seeing this one, it was fun, it was action packed, but it wasn't stereotypical.
mm,
And I think that's something that we need, especially like in today's climate. Things of just showing Black people just being happy and Black. Like, there's
and
a medium for
successful.
that. And successful. There's a medium for that. And I think that we need more content like that. Now, you did say you love yourself a good cheesy Christmas film. So, what is one of your favorite cheesy Christmas films that you watch every time this time of year?
Oh, okay. Outside of the typical, like the big ones, we have to
Mhm.
give a shout out to Jingle Jangle, because that does not get enough love.
I just watched in full Jingle Jangle finally.
Ah, a whole young
Yes,
lady.
it was amazing.
Brilliant. It was beautiful. It was
Brilliant.
pick up on all of the African, like, cloth that was made for all the uniforms and
Mhm.
costuming, and the natural hair that everyone was able to wear, and
Yeah.
it was just beautiful.
It was
But
amazing.
cheesy, typical. Okay, so there's one that I really love watching. I don't have to watch it every year, but I can watch it. And
Okay.
it's a Christina Milian Christmas movie, and it's called The Snow Globe.
Okay.
I love that one. There's another one. There's two other ones that I discovered within the past couple of years that I can watch a few times over. There was one called The Spirit of Christmas. It kind of pulled at my heartstrings. It's about a ghost that
Okay.
was stuck in a house and this woman just bought it, and it was, good Christmassy feel.
I love
Um,
that.
another cheesy one.
Love the good cheesy film.
Yeah, I just saw one recently called Ghosting.
Ghosting. What's that one about? Who's in that one?
It's oh, why can't I think of his name? He's on Insecure. He plays the
Jay
the brother.
Ellis?
No, not J.R. Ellis. It's the brother that's has
John
bipolar.
Ellie. Dean Ellie.
No.
No. Is it Kendrick Sampson?
Yes, Kendrick.
Okay. Okay.
He's in it. He's in it. He's in it.
I love that. One of my favorites I would say is I have to watch it every year. I love, and kind of what you were saying about like just Black people who are successful. I love the Best Man Holiday.
But that's not cheesy.
It's not cheesy though.
Yes,
It's
but
just
I
one of
just
my
watched
favorite Christmas one I gotta watch.
it.
That's not cheesy, but that one for me is beautiful because it's just us on the holidays and it's fun. A cheesy one I would say that I like to watch. Some may say cheesy, some may not say cheesy. I would say Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
See, I categorize those as the staple Christmas movies, like
Okay.
National Lampoon's Christmas,
You
or
have to watch those.
yeah. When I think of cheesy, I think of Hallmark, Lifetime, like the cheesy,
Yes.
small town farmer guy with the big city girl, you know.
Right. I just watched a cheesy one on Netflix. It's Single All the Way. Have you seen that one? It's like a new, it's very cheesy and cheeky, but it's cute, cheesy Netflix. And basically it's about these two friends, and it's the first gay storyline plot for a holiday film. And
Oh,
it's these
awesome.
two friends, and basically I don't want to give too much away, but the premise is like he brings him home for Christmas because he's always single. And then you see, you know how the story goes.
Yeah,
I don't have to say it, but it's cute and it's cheesy.
That's what I know about Most Wanted Santa and the direction. I'm not sure if this was the direction Tubi was going in or they wanted, where it steered away from the super cheese from Hallmark and Lifetime, where it can, because they have a specific blueprint where this is a Christmas movie. It's in the title, it's in the movie, but it's not overboard. Oh, Christmas and Christmas and Christmas.
Yeah, snow and globes and
yeah. I mean,
all
this is
that
what Christmas
stuff.
in LA looks like for us,
Yeah. So, as an actress, do you feel like streaming services have expanded the opportunities for actors, and has it helped you in any sort of way?
I feel like it has definitely expanded the opportunities for actors to work a lot more, and to just work in general. But I think it's also hurt us a little bit. Not all streaming platforms are equal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think with so many, there's like so much content that people don't focus on the quality of the project that they're creating. And I'm not saying this because this is Tubi led, but one thing that I've learned in doing some press for Tubi and just the way that they interacted with us on the filming, they were just very concerned for the talent and making sure we were happy and that things were going well. And that's important because when you're working with a certain budget or a certain type of, crew or even production company, that's creating the project, everyone's not going to be on the same page. You're not going to get everyone that has the same thought process or the same work ethic. And just one of the things that I have enjoyed about working on this film through Tubi's vision is they care about the talent. They really cared how we felt and, throughout the whole process. And you don't get that a lot.
Is there like another film that you worked on before where you felt like it was the same kind of treatment that Tubi has given you? Like another film that you loved working on and that you loved filming besides this one?
See, I'm one of those people where I'm like, that feeling people get when it's Christmas time, and I'm that person all year long. So I find great energy and work situations almost every project I work on. But and I'm not saying this because this is Tubi led, but honestly, no. You rarely work on a project where they care about you as talent.
Wow.
And this is, like I said, I know that Tubi is the distribution and the production was Cartel. It's two separate things, but Tubi made sure that they had a presence on the production. And even in the post-production of things, there were a few things where I was like, well, I don't know what's going on. And they came right in and was like, we want to make sure you're happy. We want to make sure that, things are done well. So this is the first time that this.
I love the openness of Tubi. Listen, this is your spokesperson right here because I love that. Now in the film, you do play an agent. Now, how did you prepare for that? Like, were you watching old films or different films with like agent-led actors and characters? Like, how did you prepare for this role?
So I didn't have much time to prepare, but you ever heard that expression, stay ready so you don't have to get ready?
Hello. Yes.
So when people always ask me, what do you watch on TV and what are you watching now? There's not much television I watch for pleasure.
Okay.
Most of the things I watch are the things that I want to be in or roles I want to play or the shows I would like to be a part of.
Okay.
And then I just so happen to watch these things and fall in love and be like, oh my God, this is a great show, which is great,
Yeah.
So I think for me, I've been preparing for it because I've been wanting to do law enforcement for so long. So I watch a lot of law enforcement type of things. My father's law enforcement. I have a lot of law enforcement, but there wasn't a lot of law enforcement I had to do. So like when I say that this movie isn't a typical movie, so yes, she's an FBI agent, but it was more about her love of her category more than the actual workspace of it. You know what I mean? So it was more informational, and I am very much Harper Winslow. When I find out something, I have to share it with people and be like, did you know that in 40 AD he was in Qatar? I'm her. So it was very.
So you are like the walking encyclopedia for your friends. Like, you know it.
I am Google. I am TV Guide. I am, encyclopedia.
Okay. Listen, I may have to hit you up if I need a quick info or something. Like, hey, Denyce, real quick. That's beautiful. What are some shows that you are watching? Like, what are some of your favorites that have stood out to you so far?
So far, let's see. I binge watched SWAT. So I had an audition for SWAT a couple of like maybe 2 months ago. So I was like, let me see the tone of the show. And I watched it and I was like, oh, I'm going to keep watching it. I mean, Shamar Moore is easy on the eyes. But it was such a really great show. I couldn't get off of that.
Right.
Chicago Fire.
Oh,
talking about network shows, Chicago Fire is just really amazing. It's just really well written. I mean, Shonda Rhimes just cannot.
Shonda Rhimes, just give her everything. Give her the thing she deserves.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, I mean, there are those shows. My mom and I tried to watch Squid Games last night because, I'm half Korean. So I was like, I want to watch this in Korean and see if the translation to English is, accurate, because I keep hearing that it's not. And so we tried watching Squid Games last night. It's a little too violent for me, but
it's a lot going on. I mean, after I saw little girl, like with the head thing, the pivotal point that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a lot for me. But I am happy that it definitely gets, it's just due. Now, you've played many different characters on screen as an actor. If you weren't an actor, is there an occupation you played on screen that you would like to play in real life?
I played a therapist in a short film. So I was in medical school before I became an actor. I actually dropped out of medical school.
Wow. How was that conversation?
Not talked to me for almost 2 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah, worked really hard for that, but it just wasn't something that I really had a passion
to do.
But I would finish school and I would get a doctorate in psychology. I would love to help children, but in particular for our people.
Okay.
I want to be a safe place and haven for children, because there's a quote, and I always say it wrong, but it's basically along the lines of Frederick Douglass, that basically says, you raise healthy, happy, beautiful children, and those people will not grow up to need therapy. But unfortunately, we're not there right now.
We're not there yet, but with more like-minded individuals like yourself, I think we can push for that. And what I notice in a lot of television films is like they're pushing therapy, but like not just therapy for one group, like therapy for us as well. So I can see that.
For 1 second.
Yeah.
My computer's about to die and I just need to plug it in.
Yes. Listen, for those who are tuning in right now, keep it locked. We're talking to Miss Denyce Lawton, who is in the new Tubi film, Most Wanted Santa. I recommend 10 out of 10. Okay. She did an amazing job. So if you have not seen it yet, you can go right to Tubi, get your accounts together and ready.
It's free to download.
Oh, well, there we go. And it's free. So at that point, there should be no excuse.
No, and I believe you can, if you don't have like a Fire Stick or an Apple TV or a TV that allows you to download apps, I believe you could just go into your computer and just go into the website and watch it as well.
Listen, y'all, you heard it here first. Make sure you go see that. Now, in the film, you are undercover as Rachel Fox, okay? And I love that. Now, have you ever created an alter ego in the past for something? And what would the ideal characteristics be for the alter ego?
I have several, and it really depends on the atmosphere. There have been times where I have been Starkeisha. I have been Starkeisha.
Okay. What does Starkeisha give? Who is she?
Starkeisha gave, we can't do these type of things. I am just not here for, but all the alter egos were always when I did not want to interact with certain type of men.
Okay.
this is my 20s, my club life. There was also Blanket.
Oh, Blanket. Who's Blanket?
Blanket was very obnoxious, and she had a very distinctive laugh that no one liked, and it was always workable. So I just felt like she was the go-to person for most things because no one wanted to be around her.
Right.
And so when they would just guys would keep talking, and no matter what I said or what I did, they would still be interested. And then I would just randomly just bust out a really obnoxious laugh, like, because I would Blanket, but there would be this obnoxious laugh that I would do, and they would just walk away.
I kind of want to hear the laugh now, Denyce.
It's not a hearing experience, it's a visual experience. So it's gonna go hand in hand. So you have to be prepared for this if you're ready for this.
I am ready.
Okay. There is a clip of this on the internet with Pharrell, which is hilarious, but I will do it for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. And this is in real time. This is not sped up.
Right. I think I'll walk away too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say something and you just break out in that. They're like, what is going on with this girl? And I'm like,
yeah, they're like, oh, but you know what? We all, like, even I do that sometimes, like when I don't really feel like being bothered. I don't have that kind of laugh, but I do throw out some really obnoxious characteristics where the guy's like, you know what? He's crazy. And I'm like, yes, I am crazy and I need for you to go away.
Yeah. But I think as an actor, we all have alter egos, especially when we used to go into casting rooms. I mean, you're gonna get nervous sometimes. You're gonna want to book that job, or you might even be in a room with people you actually know, so it's a little uncomfortable. So you have to put on like game face. So I think as an actor, we all have alter egos, whether we have named them or not, or we have identified it. I think we all have a little schizo in us.
Schizo. Now, acting is an art in itself. What's the best part about acting for you?
Oh, working with certain people. For me, it is, because I was just actually having this conversation with Donnell, who plays, Mr. Santa. Plays Chris. There are some actors, I have some friends who are just like, listen, as long as I work as much as this actor, if I make this amount of money and I get to do this, then they're happy. For me, I think it's not even, I know, for me, it's, I can't wait to work with this person so that I can be a better actor, because I know working with certain types of talent will level me up. It'll challenge me, and it'll just put me on a certain level where, the interaction is just a lot more different than someone who's just reading lines, someone who just really is there to only collect a check, or someone who was cast because the budget was so low they couldn't afford somebody for these lines.
Right.
So for me, that's the most exciting part of it. That's the part that I look forward to the most, is the people I get to work with, and then the storylines next.
Right. Who has been one actor in particular that has challenged you the most?
Challenged me the most? I would say two different actors, polar opposite.
Okay.
The first person that challenged me the most, and people probably won't know it, they won't understand unless they're there, but was Tommy Ford.
Okay.
I did an indie film with Tommy Ford, which was a comedy, which was a rom-com. I think it was one of his last films before he passed away. And he was like an opposite love interest between me and then Ray J, who played his son. And there was a scene where he played my boss as well. And I was supposed to be very uncomfortable in his presence. And Tommy was just doing a lot of things that made me really uncomfortable in real life. And I was like, oh man, Tommy Ford's a creep. I was like, damn. But then when they yelled cut, he was just very comforting, was just like, really sorry. He was like, excuse me. He said, you look really uncomfortable. And I'm like, yeah. Right, I was like, you're in my personal space. And it was like, he was like, oh, I was, XYZ. And he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, okay, I didn't know. I thought you were just like that at all times. He was like, no. He was like, I was just into the character. So that's a different type of challenge in that sense, where this was a person who did not turn things off when the cameras were off. No. He stayed in character. And I know that with certain types of characters and projects, it's probably not healthy to do that, but he stayed in character the whole time. And it challenged me to play that scene and that character slightly different than what I had practiced for myself or what I had did with someone who was reading lines with me. And then the second challenging was more of an internal challenge for me because it was an insecurity with where I was in my career versus where I want to be in my career and what I was actually doing. And so I have a series that's out right now called The Hot Zone Anthrax with Daniel Day Kim and Tony Goldwyn. And so I would say in my career, this is one of the biggest projects that's, you know, mainstream, crossover, whatever you want to call it, with this caliber of a cast with Dylan Baker, and it's a Ridley Scott series. So the pressure was more on myself, and I challenged myself because I'm like, you can't be Dana on House of Pain. You can't do this Lucy and Ethel thing that you've been doing on these other shows.
Different type of vibe.
It was just a very, very different, you know, energy. And so playing an African-American love interest to an Asian man on television in a show that would normally be led by mainstream, you know, white actors, that was a challenge for me, you know. And a part of Most Wanted was a little challenging for me because I'm so much like Harper in real life. It was challenging to not completely put Denyce all through this whole movie.
You have to make sure that you're in character for your character.
Yeah, like there was a lot that I added to Harper and I created for Harper, but I had to also remove what Denyce would do in real life versus what Harper should
be doing.
Because there were certain moments where I'm like, see, Denyce would have
been like, hold on, we doing this.
Denyce would have been like, oh, so we lying? Okay, let me call this Uber real quick. Oh, we don't have to talk. It's okay.
We're gonna talk about that because you had a pretty snarky, annoying partner who works with you on the assignment. Because at first she is not your friend. Now, have you ever had to work with someone like that in the past? And what's the best way to deal with someone like that?
That's a great question. How I handled people like that in the past versus how I handle them now are completely different. And unfortunately, I have. And I used to think, because I was only in the urban community and urban projects, I used to think that it was just our people that would just have this contention within each other, or petty women that would just be petty to other Black women, but it's not. It's just, there's pettiness throughout the entire industry. There's bitterness, there's ornery people, and there's just some people who are just very entitled as well. And so I have faced them throughout my career. How I used to handle it, I would run and tell my agent and my manager, and if I didn't have representation available, I would tell people how I felt, what they could and could not do. Whew, so glad I'm not her anymore. But now I let my team handle it in a very, very quiet and professional manner. And I just continue to be myself. I come to do the work. I do my work thoroughly. I'm a happy person. I try to make sure that the environment
very lovable and like sweet and happy.
Yeah, I mean, there are moments like if you cross me at the wrong moment, I may not handle it with grace, and I don't pride myself on not handling it with grace.
That's the tourist in you, because you are a tourist.
And I'm also from DC, so
so I understand because I'm from New York and I'm an Aries, so you already know, like I get you.
Yeah.
Like
some people want to challenge you when you look a certain way or when you do something a certain way, and then when you speak a certain way. You know, so when you're not able to code switch in certain areas, people will either look down on you or they will look at you sideways. And so that's been challenging in this business the most.
Do you feel like you have to code switch now in your career, or have you ever code switched in your career? And do you agree with it?
I'm code switching a little bit right now.
Okay.
I do. I find myself doing it often. I mean, I'll go into a store, and if I'm just even asking, where are your baskets? I literally, hi, can you tell me where your baskets are? You know, and because it makes me less threatening. It makes me, you know, more likable. And I find and this is so upsetting, a lot of people don't understand. I find myself making sure I look presentable when I leave the house, when I go into certain stores, because we can't walk into a Walmart or even a Target in pajamas the way everyone else can and still be treated the same way. You know, if you're coming in from the gym and you look a hot mess and you go into the store, you will still be treated very differently than if you were to go in there with a nice sweater and your hair, you know, very, very done up.
Wow. Is that like a pressure that came from like just being in this business? And like, do you feel like that's something where, like you think that other actors should, or other people in general should probably like kind of fall into? Like, what do you think about that for others?
So for me, it's two things. I mean, for me, I feel like I have to be presentable most times when I know I'm going into an open, crowded area, because some people might be like, hey, can we get a photo? So that's a whole different thing
Right.
that the industry has kind of traumatized me into doing that, because now with social media, these photos pop up everywhere. And I'm like, girl, my left eye was closed.
Hop
Well,
up.
right. But no, the industry has nothing to do with me wanting to be presentable when I leave the house. It's society and how I've been treated, and how, I mean, this is a trigger response that most people of color, whether you're Asian, Indian, Hispanic, we hold on to our receipts.
Yeah.
Don't put it in the bag. Give it to me in my hand until I get to my car, because we just might be accused of stealing something. It's a trigger response. So no, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't feel like everyone should have to do that. It's my trauma response to America.
Yeah.
But
and that's your rightful self. Like, that's okay too. Like, I think that we all suffer through different type of trauma responses. And I feel as though that, we all should be accepting of that. And that at the end of the day, like, that's just who we are. And if it's not harming someone else, then like, it's none of your business, period. So I love that. Now, also within the film, what was the best part? Because there was a lot of fun little moments that we had. So it was like your favorite part filming Most Wanted, Santa?
Filming, my favorite filming part, or my favorite final product of the movie?
Let's do both.
Okay, so my favorite filming, all of my favorite, I enjoyed filming the whole movie, because Teresa Castillo and I, we actually hit it off immediately. It was like Ebony and Ivory. Like, I would start like singing on set, and I get delirious. I'll start singing Little Mermaid, and then I'll just hear someone come behind me and be like, I want to be where the people are. And I'm like, oh, yes. And we would just sing like all of these show tunes and songs. And then here comes Mark Lawson, who plays Captain Matthew. And he was like, up where they walk. And then here comes Kate, Watson. And she was like, where they stay. So it was like
a whole fun musical happening.
It was, and it was every day working with them. So the first week Donnell was not working. The gentleman that plays Chris North, his mother actually passed right like maybe a day or two before we started filming. But when he came in, I know that he had a nervousness, because he was like, I've been watching the stories and I've been seeing you guys all like mesh, and you guys are like, he's like, I hope I can come and vibe and not mess up the chemistry. And he came in, it was just the same. It was just fun, and everybody's just really cool. We all still hang out at this point. So that was the most fun, was working with the cast behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It was 90%, I wouldn't say 90% female production.
Love that.
A lot of people of color. There was the head of the art design department were two Asian women. Our camera operator, Hispanic woman, Marisola. I don't know if it's Maricela or Marisola Mendez. Kristen Fairweather was our director, was a woman. It was mostly female and people of color, production. So that was great. My favorite part of the movie, I have two favorite parts.
Okay.
It was edited where you didn't really get to see it that much, but working with Shirley Jordan, there's just something about that woman and doing scenes with her that gave me goosebumps. The way that she would look at me, and I'm like, oh my God, are you my real mother? What's going on? What's happening? Because, so watching that on camera, that was really fun to watch. And then there was just this one moment that was not scripted, but it made the cut. But I don't want to get into it. But it was the scene with Carly and Harper, and this is after. The exceeds expectations moment. That's all I'm gonna say. Where I'm like, ooh, exceeds expectations.
Wait, so that part? Okay, I don't want to give too much away.
No, it wasn't scripted. That scene was scripted, but what I said and did was not scripted at all. Like my whole walk thing was just me having fun with Teresa, and it made the cut. And so she and I, we feel like that's like the most fun.
I love that. That sounds like so much fun. Now, 2022 is coming up, and everyone has a goal, right? Now, if Santa can grant you any kind of goal that you can accomplish in 2022, what would you ask for him to grant you?
So this is very personal. I haven't said this to anyone.
Oh.
I want to get pregnant in 2022.
Okay. I just love how honest you are here. Like, this is like a full transparent.
Put it out into the universe, honey. You have to claim these things.
Okay. So we want that.
So
are
yes,
we dating right now?
I have been single for about 2 years. I'm just now telling people, I don't know, this interviewing process has had me tell all my business that I don't put on my social. I don't talk about it, but I'm like, I have to talk about it if I want it, right?
Right.
I just don't want certain people in my DMs, because certain people have been in my DMs and I'm like, what is this?
I can only imagine how your DMs work, child. I could only imagine.
Bipolar. It is far left and right, up and down, and I don't know where.
All around.
Sometimes it feels like Squid Game. Sometimes it feels like Breaking Bad, and sometimes
the cute Lifetime cheesy rom-com.
Interesting. But no, so I have actually made plans. I'm like, listen, if I'm not in a loving, healthy, stable relationship this time next year, where that could be something that will happen within, like, you know, a certain time frame, then I've made a decision to do some co-parenting with either a really great guy friend that I cannot be in a relationship with that wants to be a parent as well, or find a Black gay couple to co-parent with. Because what's better than one daddy? Two daddy.
Okay, wait, can you give me like two more years though, and then we could do this? Because then maybe because I'm actually,
you know how old I am. Look at these ovaries are not waiting. They have been considered geriatric stage at this point.
Oh my God. Okay, hopefully I can find a man quickly and we can see what happens. Let's see. We're in a process right now, but we're gonna figure that out.
So yeah, all that Harper wanted in the movie is what I want in real life. You know, like the things, I don't believe that I can't have them. I just know that I have to balance my career and my schedule a little bit better. And so I would say that 2022 is, I feel like, the great year to actually make that. Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, I hope and I know that your goal will come true. I think another thing that came true is you have a successful movie out right now, Most Wanted Santa on Tubi, and also The Hot Zone, honey. Okay, you're just out here working and thriving, baby. I love that for you.
Oh, and then coming up in the next year, stay tuned. I lend my voice to a few outlets, but one in particular is I can't say the name of the game yet, but it's very GTA.
Oh, I love games like that.
So I have, you will hear my voice prominently on a game that will be coming out at the beginning of 2022.
That means you have to come back and chat with us again to talk about that game.
And hopefully Tubi will have a Most Wanted Santa too.
Are we throwing that out there? Listen,
it's talked about amongst the cast. I mean, we just have to figure out how the logistics are played, but I already have an outline. I have a 10-page outline on part 2.
Well, look, y'all, Tubi, make sure you cut that check from my good Denyce, okay? And make sure we get a number 2, or maybe even a series. Imagine a Most Wanted Santa series.
We talked about that on set, because if you look at the cast, like the 4 of us together could really do a lot. I'm like,
Tubi, I think you have another original series on your hands. Yes. Denyce, thank you so much for having Your Voice Media today. You are phenomenal. I just love seeing how much you've grown, and I just cannot wait to see more of you, okay, in the video world, the virtual world, the on-screen world, just all over the world.
So thank you. Oh, I was like, video. I was like, oh yeah, I did Rotimi. Did you see Rotimi's?
Ooh, I have.
Aren't aware. I haven't done music videos in 16 years, and then Rotimi, people know mostly from Power.
Yeah.
Reached out to me this summer, was like, hey, I have this video. The storyline is classic, beautiful old Hollywood, Martha's Vineyard on a sailboat. He was like, I could only think of you, and I'm like, that's very flattering. I was like, and we did so beautiful. But yeah, Rotimi has a single out, and check it out. I dusted off my old video girl video.
You was very prominent back in the day in them videos. Like that was Denyce. Okay, like
honey, you got to turn into that video.
Okay, I'm gonna watch the video. Okay, and might get some nostalgic, reminiscent moments of what I used to see from back in the day too. Denyce, thank you so much for chatting with us. Keep doing your thing, and I just cannot wait to talk to you again. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.